This is the end of Wells Avenue. I thought I'd walk around as long as nobody has a problem and tell you some of the memories that I had and kind of feel like what it is now. This is the exact plot plan of the house, but the original house burnt down that my father had designed. One day I was coming home and there was this great big snake in this tree right here. I remember that. So this used to be much more thick. I see there's a lot of, it looks like bamboo now. I don't remember any bamboo. This used to be a lot more thick. It was like a little jungle here. And you used to be able to go through here and you used to be able to go across the creek. So I think I can probably step on this and walk around without a problem. Right around here, in this little clearing area, right around here was our fort. A really nice fort. It was one of the better forts we had. It was probably one of the last forts ever built, other than Max's and Anna's fort. And so it was one of the better ones because I was a little bit older and could do better. I was in junior high school in this house. So I'm walking along here. I'm gonna go over there and see if I can get to a place where I can walk along where I used to walk along. Doesn't look like it's gonna be very easy. There's a lot of stuff they've piled up here. So it's not very easy. And then when you go on their property, there's a fence. So the only way I can get to the creek is if I step up on this and it doesn't sink too much. Maybe I can get to the creek. Okay, so this used to be open. And over here, there was another forest. There were no houses. This was a creek. And a lot of times we could get across and go into the forest. And there was another person living out here in a really nice little fort. They were actually living there. This was all just forest at that time. So whenever we went over there, we would play. And there, see this little berm right here? There were a whole bunch of trees where those houses over there were. And we had little things up in the trees that we set up, and we would swing off that berm and all around in the area over there on the other side of that berm. Kind of in that person's front yard now. So we had all kinds of swings. And then this is something I could probably walk down here because it's not on the property. It's just a ditch. This ditch was always here just for runoff. And I'm not gonna be able to look into the yard of our house, it doesn't look like, because they have this fence right here. But I haven't been here for maybe 45 or more years. And I thought if I just walked along here, I might be able to show you something, or I might be able to remember something, but unfortunately I can't because of the fences. But I'm walking along here and hoping there's no rattlesnakes because I don't have any spats. But I'm walking through this area here. This fence was never there. We would play around this area, but this was our backyard. And you can see there's, or the side yard. You can see the house is still up there. We're not to the backyard yet. And it doesn't look like I'm gonna be able to get to the backyard. It's really heavily overgrown. By golly, if they ever get dried out, which I think they're having a drought right now, they're gonna have problems with fires. Mrs. Palladino says they can only have watering 1 day a week. So I'm guessing they're in a drought if they have rules like that. But here I was, able to get through. Okay, so again, this was all forest. This was all forest. And I might be able to get through here and go to our backyard. Now, this looks like they have to keep this easement available. So even though we considered this our backyard, now it is currently a easement. We didn't have any of these trees here. This was all just grass, all the way up to the house. This was all just grass. My mom and dad got us a nice little badminton net. We played volleyball and badminton. Right over here, we had 3 hay bales piled up, and I could do my archery. And it didn't matter because nobody's over there, even if I missed, but I didn't miss. My dad used to take me to the archery range all the time, and I got good. And I would practice my archery there into some hay bales there. And look at this, somebody down here has a little playground in their yard. I'll zoom in there. That's nice. It's not a fort, but it looks like also a fort. So I'm walking this ground for the first time in 45 years. And I had many happy times in the house that was there, that burned down, that my dad designed. Many happy times. And I believe David was friends with somebody that lived next door, but he was younger and I didn't know him very well. And there's the end of the property line. And we had a carport. We didn't have a garage at that time. So that house right there is now sitting where the other one was. And all this was clear and all this was forest. And this yard, we did a lot of fun times here. So now I've walked it again after all this time. And so that's just a little bit of the memories. Okay, so now that I can go across, because there's no water in this creek right now, because they're in the middle of a drought, I'm gonna try to go across and see what it feels like to be over there, like I said, with that little berm. On the other side of that berm, we got some height there, so that when you swing, you're swinging and there's a lot of vacant area down below. And so we set up the swings there. Let's see if I can get over there, over that berm, and look down and see if any of the trees I remember, or if it brings back any other memories. So we're up. And I'm sure that tree was there. Look how big that is. So we might have hung a swing off of those. And the other swings might have been hung off of this tree. But there were trees in this yard that are now gone, and there were probably swings on that too. Like I say, this whole thing was a forest. So, and this has been filled in with fill, so whenever they have rains, they don't get flooded. But this was much lower at that time. Kind of like the whole thing was down to creek level down there. This whole thing dropped off, so we had nice swings set up. So we had that. I don't think we had a swing at this particular fort because we had these swings right across the way here, so we didn't need a swing over there. So as I say, there's the house, there's a fence around it. There used to be all grass, and then there was this whole thing was filled with woods. So the fort was right over across the way. So we had our swings where I just showed you, and our fort was over here, and that's the whole thing. So here we go. Back up. Back through. The woods would have been really heavy. It would have been really heavy. And I remember one Thanksgiving, I helped my mom and dad take down all the vines out of the trees that were over by the house. I thought that was fun, because who wants the vines, you know? You want to have the trees, but you don't want to have the inaccessibility. This little area where parking spaces was always here, and the driveway and the footprint remains pretty much the same of the house. And that's about all I can tell you or show you at this particular place at the end of Wells Avenue. I would walk down this street, catch the bus at the end of it. I mowed the lawn on a house over here for $20 every time I did it. And then after the bus, after junior high school, I came back down here, walked down this street, and did my homework and such until it was time to go to swim practice. So that's pretty much that house.